Start recording now. Now we are live.
Yay! Highway.
Are you live as well?
Yes.
Okay, then it's official. We are starting. Welcome to Poetry Time. We don't have a name, do we? What is our name?
I don't know. I'm usually just like I show up wherever I am. A flow of intent
Okay.
time.
Okay. I don't know. Should we introduce something? Should we just jump straight into it? I don't know how to do this.
Can you think of any good name?
I don't know. Something with trance and poetry and fairy things. Welcome to Transformation.
Formation.
Transform. Oh, yes, that's it. Then we are
Where's the poetry? What's the word?
transformation. Oh, because poetry transforms you into something better and beyond who you were before you've encountered the poetry, maybe. Anyway, my name is Chas, and my co-host is Leah here.
I'm Leah.
And I think we're going to jump in. Do you want to start? Or do you want me to start?
You can start.
Okay. I have 3 poems for you. The first one is a bit happier than the rest. It's very specific, and I'm going to actually time myself to try to give some short introduction. So, this actually is a poem in Basque. I am from San Sebastian, which is part of the Basque country, which is a small region in the north part of Spain. And we didn't really have a good time during the Franco dictatorship in Spain, from 1939 to 1975. And in the last years, in the later years of the dictatorship, around the 1970s, there was a very strong independent singer movement, and one of the most important singers, poets, a bit of everything, a bit of each, was a guy called Miquel Laboa, which I will write down here so that we have as a reference. And this is his most famous song. I sang this every year 2 or 3 times at school because it was like a kind of an hymn. Every person from the Basque country knows this poem. But as it's a poem that a guy sang, I know the lyrics and I know the song, so I'm going to sing it now, and then I will translate it and I will tell you what it is about.
So it has quite some national and personal history.
It is. Here it comes. There you go. Egoak ebaki banizkio, neria izango zen, ez zuen alde egingo, baina nonela, ez zen gehiago txoria izango, baina nonela, ez zen gehiago txoria izango, eta nik txoria nuen maite, eta nik txoria nuen maite. And that's like the main part of the poem. He just keeps repeating over and over, but it's like a really.
Voice is so nice.
Thank you. I had a hard time hitting some of the highest notes, but well, that's what you get. Oh, anyway, so the point. The at the core of the poem, I'm just going to translate it first. The first part, like egoak ebaki banizkio neria izango zen, that's Basque for if I had cut its wings, it would have been mine. But this way, baina nonela ez zen gehiago txoria izango, means that, but if had I cut his wings, it would no longer be a bird. And I loved the bird.
Can you repeat it?
Yeah, so it's the at the core of the poem is the contradiction that the poet, the author, loves a bird, like an actual flappy bird, the animals that fly in the sky. And he has to either cut the bird's wings to keep the bird or let the bird be free to fly away because it's a bird.
So it's a
and
melody of freedom.
yeah, and it's the contradiction between I love this thing, and if I had cut its wings, it would have been mine, but then it wouldn't be a bird anymore, and I loved the bird. So it's like how love, in this case for nature, and I think you can also like create a parallel with like interhuman love. But like if you love something, you have to love it. You have to love its essence, and trying to change the essence to keep it is bad. That's
like
not
Plato's forms.
pretty much. Yeah, I would say so. I see like a very nice interplay between the love you have for something and the respect you have to have for its nature at the same time. Loving is not possession, loving is not control, loving is learning something's nature and respecting it, I think. And that's how I see this poem, even though the song itself is a bit sad. It's always sung with a bit of a melancholy, because you have to let the object of your love, the bird in this case, you have to let it go. I really think about this poem in a way of the poet discovering that in order to love something, you have to understand it and then respect it. So yeah, that's
so
there you go. And
I love that.
yeah, it's like a very simple what's the word? A very simple difference. Like you have this idea of love and this idea of what a bird is, and they are not compatible, so you choose to respect it, and I like it.
It's so
And that's it.
You wanna go a bit more of the lyric of the?
Oh, it's actually just like those are the lyrics. I will just be singing it again, which I'd be happy to. So it goes like this. Again. Egoak ebakibanizkio, neria izango zen, ez zuen alde egingo. Egoak ebakibanizkio, neria izango zen, ez zuen alde egingo. Baina nonela, ez zen gehiago txoria izango. Baina nonela, ez zen gehiago txoria izango. Eta nik txoria nuen maite. Eta nik txoria nuen maite. So it's just like repeating twice each of the short parts of the song. It's just like, had I cut its wings, it would have been mine. It wouldn't have run away, but this way, it would no longer have been a bird. This way, it would no longer have been a bird, and I loved the bird. That's it. It's like,
You know, I love your singing voice because it completely like transfers the kind of sadness within this poem, but also the kind of freedom.
It's yeah, because that's why I think this poem is hopeful. You know, I think that in the past it's been presented as sad because you can't have the bird, and there is a sadness in not having the bird. But in reality, and I can see the cat doing like messing up. 1 second.
Oh, good. I like your kid.
No puede estar ahí. Bebé. But I see it as a happy poem because like loving something doesn't mean owning it, and in this case you can just love the bird while respecting it. But anyway, that's it. That's the poem. Very short, very sweet, and
I loved
that
it.
was mine. Mikel Laboa, Choriak Chori.
I loved it. It also carries like this fragility of like the bird.
Yes.
Did you start with a sad one?
No, that was a happy
That
one.
was a happy one.
Well, happy, hopeful.
It was.
I won't say
yes,
hopeful.
Yes, hopeful.
I have like my second one is sad as fuck. Get ready for it. It's gonna be sad. You're gonna
Mine too.
cry. I
Mine.
cried when I read it.
I'm curious. Okay, my first one is quite short. It's in German, and I will like or in the fly like translate it. Only on the path of the night, the morning glow. You will reach the morning glow.
The morning what?
The morning glow.
Oh, okay.
Only on
I
the
see.
path of the night you will
Mhm.
reach the morning glow.
Okay. I want to
Mhm.
I want to listen to it in German as well. Please.
I will try. Nur auf dem Pfad der Nacht erreicht man die Morgenröte.
I like it. I didn't know what to expect about German poetry and it sounds beautiful.
Like it carries the efficiency of the German language. It still is poetic, but it also
Yeah,
is,
it
has
feels
this
dense,
straight to the
right?
pointness.
It feels like it's trying to communicate a lot of things in a very short
Yes, exactly.
sentence. I like it.
And I think like it's so hopeful because like often you find yourself like in a let's call it dark, but like that's a really bad definition. Like because that is like an umbrella term for so many things and so many feelings. And it kind of reminds of us like we have phases that go up and down, and like that is a completely normal part of like existence. And then that like without like darkness we wouldn't understand what light is, because we would have nothing to compare it to.
I have a question.
Mhm.
Because I can understand this poem in different ways.
That's the beauty about language.
And yeah, but I wonder what's the first like why does it resonate with you? Like what interpretation of the poem resonates with you the most?
In what way?
Like because going back to my poem before, I liked it because for me it talks about like the balance between love, ownership, or like possessiveness and freedom. But that's my understanding of the poem, and for me it's happy. Like that's a very personal understanding of that poem. So I wonder how you like what is a very personal, a very Leah interpretation of the poem.
A very Leah interpretation of the poem is quite hard to grasp. Like there is an element of me just liking language where people had fun with the language. Where it's like you have a word like morning glow, which is like Wittgenstein said it a lot, that like understanding is like
Such a German thing. I love it.
I'm sorry.
I want to apologize. I love it.
No. Thank you. That like language is communicated, that meaning is communicated via language in images. And that like if we say on the path of the night, It's not just a night, it's a visual metaphor of like a path of something we know. It paints a picture in our mind. So like people just having fun with that, I personally really enjoy, because if you have like the path of the night, only on the path of the night, you will reach the morning. How they? Only on the path of the night you will reach the morning glow. Like it paints colors. Like I have a bit of like synesthesia going on with like language and stuff. It's like for me, I just pick things which like look pretty to me.
Okay, I see what you mean.
How would you
Because
interpret it?
when I read it, I see two different different ways it could go. Like I see one clear way of talking around about solace. So if you're having like a bad time, you're in a bad position, and about in the dark, in the night
Yes.
path, that's when you can see the good of the good things that maybe you don't value them while you have them.
Stars shine the brightest in the night, in the darkest night. Something like that.
Yeah.
I get
So
it with
like,
that.
but like that's one interpretation, like how like a hopeful message, right? Like I am happy, not happy, but I am hopeful because being in the dark, I will see the morning glow later. But there was the other one of actually going there. So if you want to appreciate something, you are encouraged to go to where it shines the most. You know, like I have a comfortable life, and so I can see it in two ways, is what I'm trying to get at.
Yes, I think that that's so pretty that like you can also like see language as like something which can like be interpreted in like different from different viewpoints. Basically, like if you have like a crystal, and it has different like facets of itself. I think it would be the same with meaning and language.
You are thinking in poetry about poetry. I don't think that's going to take us anywhere.
It's pretty though.
It is pretty. Let me know when you're ready to move on to the next one.
Oh, it's just as soon as you're ready.
Oh, it's a sad one. You have been warned.
Okay, I will brace myself.
Okay, here it comes. A friend of mine sent me this poem yesterday morning. I was walking to the office. I took the train to the train station close to my office, and then I had to walk for a bit. I was just walking in the early morning, still dark, and I was chatting with her about poetry, and she said, "This poem killed me yesterday." That's how she said that, and she sent me this poem.
Now I'm
And
curious.
I read it, and I started crying while walking to the office.
You
Okay.
make me so curious, so much suspense.
I'm just trying to set that tone. So
Is there
I'm going to read it in Spanish, then I'm going to translate to English. Okay.
how's it called?
So, tinta, ink, ink like squid ink, like the thing you write with. So here it comes. Tinta. Mi otro abuelo estuvo preso en Oviedo, en la cárcel provincial, después de la guerra. Todas las mañanas colgaban una lista en la puerta de entrada de la cárcel. En esa lista estaban escritos los nombres y los apellidos de todas las personas a las que el día anterior habían puesto contra el paradón o dado muerte mediante garrote vil. Imagínate a tu abuela, me decía mi padre, sin saber leer ni escribir, conmigo en brazos, preguntando a gritos a las otras mujeres si tu abuelo se había convertido en tinta.
That sounds so heavy.
Because it is heavy even to like think about it. Here it comes. Ink. My other grandfather was imprisoned in Oviedo. Oviedo is a city in the north of Spain. En la cárcel provincial después de la guerra. In the provincial jail after the war. In Spanish, when we mean the war, we mean the civil war we had from 1936 to 1939, just before this World War II. Every morning they hang a list in the jail entrance, and in that list they would written the names and family names of every person that the previous day had been put against the wall or been killed by a specific method they talk about. And imagine my grandmother, my father used to say, imagine my grandmother, she didn't know how to read or write. She had me on arms, asking, shouting to the other women if your grandfather had become ink.
Oh no! Oh no!
I know, and it's so, and the worst thing is that this is very, very believable. Like I can see this happening. I can see this being true, because like
Yes.
women in the 1920s, 30s, and especially if they were old, if they grew up in the late 1800s, they didn't know how to read or write. So I can very much imagine this, and it's like, fuck.
That's so heavy.
I know. It's but it's so beautiful because like the like this poet, I think he died some months ago, like earlier this year, and like I 100% believe this to be true. I 100% believe that this is a thing that his father told him, and that his grandmother just had to go through that. And it's beautiful because it really paints like a very grim and like dark picture with just three elements. You have the enormous like autoritarismus kind of cruelty from the system that just executes people that were in the losing side of a war, and you have a poor old woman who has done nothing wrong in her life, I'm sure, who just can't read or write, and trying to know if her husband has died in night, and it's so soul crushing.
It's so Kafkaesque. It's like they are in a situation where they can do nothing but like where they have no
Accept it.
means to,
Yeah.
to escape the situation, which is obviously a troubling situation.
I wouldn't say Kafkaesque because I think Kafka also has this component of confusion,
Yeah, I agree.
and this feels just bad. Like there is no humor or no dark humor in it to make it from confusion. This is just
It feels really intimate.
fuck you.
Yeah.
Like not you, Leah, but like
I
the
get you.
poem is just like, yeah, you know what I mean.
I get you.
So yeah, that's what I wanted to sandwich it because I really like this poem. Like it has become one of my favorites, but it's dark.
It's so heavy.
It is. That was me.
I don't know what to say after that. You know, as a trans person, you like you start as a guy and then like you slowly get to understand like the lives of the females have.
Mm-hmm.
And such an interesting perspective to like how do I say that? Eh, to learn about like half the world which was hidden before.
Yes. 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 But at the same time, looking back, I saw the male world through dysphoria eyes.
Yeah, me too. That's like
And
bias.
yeah, and because like 1 hour ago I was shopping with for clothes with my friend
Mm-hmm.
and her boyfriend. So he was on the male side of the clothing store, and I was with my friend in the girls section of the clothing store.
Mm-hmm.
And I just looked at the boy clothes and was like, "This is so boring. This
Yes.
the clothes are boring. The colors are boring. People who like to wear this are boring." And I know that's false. That's false. That's a false statement. That's a false um, idea. But
It's a personal version.
I feel it now. I feel the boredom.
Yes.
So I don't know.
I completely
Anyway,
feel you on that.
being trans life, I guess.
Existence keeps
Anyway.
moving, keeps flowing.
Mm-hmm.
I heard some really good sentence if I remember it. Eh. The flow of time never stops. The river of time never stops.
The river of time never stops. I like it.
Me too. Should I do mine? Or you
On
do?
to you, please.
Okay, my sad one. It's in English.
Mm-hmm.
I will try to do my best. Words found in the rubble after the final war. Yes, we lived in a time of darkness and did nothing. Yes, we looked up and we saw the sky on fire. And we knew that we had made the flames with our own hands. Yes, we wasted every breath on rage. Children, if any of you have survived this, start again. With the simplest things, we beg you. Walk out through the garden of the darkness and touch each other's faces in the morning air. Slowly, slowly, say each other's names.
I love it.
Thank you. It's like the whole framing of like
I love it.
the best wishes we could have for each other in like a framing where it really matters. You have muted yourself.
Yes, I can listen to you, but I have to handle a cat thing.
Oh, okay.
So give me 30 seconds to a minute.
Sure. No worries.
Um, because like the last hour or so before my cats eat, they get really angry and noisy and start bothering and complaining a lot.
Or if you need a break at any time, you like just say.
No. It is not their dinner time and they know it, but they still try. So
So strict.
yeah, because I don't want them to be to have issues with weight. One of them is really overweight, and she's just 2 years old, so I don't want them to have an issue with that.
Mm-hmm.
That means that I have to be strict with them and how much they eat and when they eat, etc.
I don't know. My
Anyway,
cat just comes in. I feed it.
I mean, I guess you're lucky that you have cats that self-regulate their weight and how much they eat. For
Yes,
my two cats, one of them does, one of them doesn't.
like mine just randomly showed up.
Mm,
Like,
fair enough.
okay, you're mine now.
Um, I really loved the poem.
Thank you. Like, what was I saying? Hmm. Like, I love the whole framing of like. I think I have a thing for hope in general. Like, I love the hope of like the
You see,
collective
this is a
dream.
hopeful poem.
I think it's both. It's hopeful and sad. It's hope, but in a way which like brings sadness through its framing.
Because I see this as a poem of regret.
Regret?
Yeah,
It can be both.
because yeah,
Can you
true.
continue?
But looking at how the poem is actually like worded from the point of view of someone that has died in the final word, in the final war among the rabble. I see it as children. If any of you have survived this,
Mm-hmm.
walk out to the garden and do so and so. So I see it as do the things that I wish I would have been able to do. You know,
I feel that.
like don't repeat our mistakes.
Like I interpret like the act of writing the letter itself is like already a hopeful act. Like he bothered to
Yeah,
write a letter in the first place.
you're right.
Like it's despair, but it's also like the wish that someone will read the despair. Like
I guess
slowly say each other's names.
I guess I bring my own pessimism into the conversation.
Oh, that's like the best point about poetry. It means something different to everyone.
It's one of these haunted house mirrors that show you blurred reflection of yourself.
Yeah, it's Mercurio. Like after like
Mercurial.
the reflection of like Mercury.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I love it. That's what I'm going to say. I love it.
Thank you. I like yours too.
Thank you. I do have another one, but I don't want to push it. If you want to say something else about your poem, please do so.
No, please, ciao.
Okay. This last one from mine, comes from Federico Garcia Lorca, which I know it's like a famous Spanish poet. Not sure if you know him.
Not yet.
Okay,
I would love
because
to.
like it's one of the few like internationally known Spanish poets. Lorca was a poet for the first half of the 20th century.
Mm-hmm.
He died in the Spanish Civil War, but
Yeah.
he spent, I think, a couple of years in the U.S., United States, 1930, 1920 something, and he was gay. He was a homosexual, which
I
in
see.
that Spain was not very well seen.
Mm-hmm.
But we have some very woke years in Spain. We have from 1930 to 1936, from 1930 to 1936. We had 6 years of like a republic, which was like very liberal, and you could be openly homosexual, and not a lot of people complained. So this poem comes from his book called Poeta en Nueva York, so a poet in New York. And I love this poem because I feel that he is writing about Grinder. Grinder doesn't exist in his time, of course, because it's an application for smartphones. We're talking
Yeah.
about 1930s. Still, it feels like that. It feels like cruising in the gay sense. It feels like him discovering gay sex in New York in the 1930s, and it feels really, really.
Oh, that's so interesting.
It is, and when I saw this poem, I was really crazy with it because when we studied him at school, no one told us about this book.
Yes.
They told us the book existed, but they didn't show us how good it is because like half the book is
Okay.
this guy talking about all the guys he's having gay sex with,
I
and
need
they
to read
don't
that.
say that.
I need to read that.
But they don't say that. But then you go and see actually this guy was being a very big homosexual person. Anyway,
I love that.
so here you go. Actually, I'm also going to sing because I like singing.
Sure.
Um, this poem was actually made into a song by a Spanish songwriter 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to just try to follow his song because that's how I know the poem. Okay, so here you go. The poem is called "Hay voz secreta del amor oscuro." Like alas, secret voice of dark love,
Mm-hmm.
and it goes like this. I'm going to sing it in Spanish. Hay voz secreta del amor oscuro. Hay balidos sin lana. Hay herida. Hay aguja de hiel, camelia hundida. Hay corrientes sin mar, ciudad sin muro. Hay noche inmensa de perfil seguro. Montaña celestial de angustia erguida. Hay perro en corazón, voz perseguida. Silencio sin confín, lirio maduro. Huye de mí, caliente voz de hielo. No me quieras perder en la maleza, donde sin fruto gimen carne y cielo. Donde sin fruto gimen carne y cielo. Deja el duro marfil de mi cabeza, de mi cabeza. Apiádate de mí, rompe mi duelo. Que soy amor, que soy naturaleza, naturaleza. And then he is kind of like goes on from there.
Your Spanish
I really,
singing makes me so horny.
I really like this song. Like
Mm-hmm.
the song itself, and I will send it to you later because it's a really nice song.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you can compare how like an actual singer sings versus my amateur attempt to it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here goes translation. And after translation, I'm going to touch on the topics because like there are two big topics. One is what I discussed, but there's a second topic of how this man is a very sensitive man,
Mm-hmm.
and he is not very happy with how violent and how physical this sex is because he's a very emotional person and he's not feeling the love, he's feeling the physical act of sex, and he's not very happy with how loveless this whole thing is.
Mm-hmm.
Here it comes. So oh dark voice of no secret voice of dark love.
Mm-hmm.
Oh like sheep noise without wool. Oh my wound. Oh, sunken flower, more stuff like that, or like flow without a sea, city without walls. So this whole first part talks about how he's having metaphors in which things are missing the key thing. So like a flow that doesn't have a river, or a city that doesn't have like a wall around the city. It feels like you have an element, a symptom,
Mm-hmm.
without the source, without
The root.
yes, which I see this as a very clear metaphor of sex without love.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I interpret this first part, and then goes I not immense like a huge boundless night of safe profile. a holy mountain of upright anguish, a dog in my heart, chaste voice, boundless silence, elder flower, another type of flower.
Interesting.
So it feels like this, to me, paints a very clear picture of the whole dog in my heart. Feels like I want to have sex. There is a dog in my heart and is barking and chasing
Possibly.
something.
That could be like a monkey mind reference, like lower impulses, like sexuality,
Yes.
hunger, food.
It could also be love, but that dog, like
sexuality.
that being a dog, makes me feel more about, like, my heart wants to have sex with you, is what I understand from this poem.
Among other things, yes, definitely.
And then the whole feeling safe in the night, like a sky mountain of anguish, feels a lot like he's not having a good time. He's not happy. I feel that he's here chasing the feeling of sex, but he is not in a happy place. He's just chasing his instincts.
Not satisfied.
That's high. Yes. And then goes like, huye de mí, canto de hielo. Like, run away from me.
Mhm.
Hot voice of ice. That's a very clear
Yes.
oxymoron. How you say it in English? Like paradox, like there is contradiction. And I feel that he's painting how this is not natural. And I don't think he's talking about the gay sex, but about the loveless sex.
That it's like missing a part.
Yes. And he also, like, his final sentence, I think it's also ambiguous in a sense, because it says that without a fruit, flesh and ice moan. And that fruitlessly could mean, two cis men having sex that don't make babies.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a very obvious thing. But I feel that it's also more like our sex doesn't mean anything. There's nothing behind that. It's not going to achieve anything. It's just sex. That's it. There is no fruit. There is nothing else. It's just sex.
Have you
And
Please continue.
Okay, but that I just feel that he's not happy because his heart wants sex, and at the same time he's not happy because it doesn't mean anything, and he wants it to mean stuff. And just like the end is like a very deja de dormir mi cabeza. Release the hard ivory of my mind.
Oh, oh, that's so interesting.
So,
That's
like,
an interesting word.
it feels like he's trying to get this influence of emotion or like the need to have sex, this libido, and he is asking that libido to leave his mind palace of rationality. Like, I don't want your influence here.
Like purity, or like
I feel that he just doesn't like the influence of wanting to have sex. He doesn't like that impulse, and he is like trying to reject it. That's how I perceive it. Anyway, and then he goes like, "Have mercy, break my grief," and I feel that the most relevant verse is the last one, which says, "Because I am love, I am nature," and like, again, I feel that I felt this in Grindr so much. Like, when I read these words written in the 1930s, it was like, I feel this shit. Like, yes. Thank you, Federico García Lorca, for writing this thing 100 years ago. This whole I am a prisoner of my need for sex. I don't like being a prisoner of my need for sex, but I am a prisoner of my need for sex, and at the same time, I this sex is loveless, this sex is fruitless, this sex is just sex, and I don't like that because I am a sensitive person that wants the love that is not getting. So I see this as frustrating, but in a happy way because I was very happy to finally read these words in a place like someone else thought of this. And it breaks my mind that someone else that felt this and put it into writing was a guy 100 years ago.
It's
You know?
like it's community transcending the darkness, even if it's like
Yes.
someone who is like in a different temporal place.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
What I wanted to say, there's like, do you know a song for a guilty sadist?
No.
It has
Please.
like a lyrics in it, which goes, um, from my own submissive pleasure, I wanna do just as you wish. Basically, 1 second, let me pull up the lyrics. Um, alright, just paraphrase it. Basically, the song is about that this guy, um, like they want to be a bit rougher in the bed, the partner, and then his thought process is, and for my own submissive pleasure, I want to do just as you wish, even though it is something the person themselves don't enjoy. It's like a loveless sex, but like from their own submissive pleasure, they still want to do it.
That feels like it would take, I don't know, probably 6 or 7 pages of discourse just to go to analyze each of the layers of like pleasure and consent and love and sex, and if that consent has been worded or not, right?
Yes, it does.
Wow. I
Like
would not
poetry,
feel comfortable in something like that at all.
me neither. But like life is like a
Life is
like
like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.
yes. I was looking for like some analogy of like a river or something.
That was Forrest Gump, the beginning. Amazing movie.
Oh, I can't remember. Oh, obviously. Hmm?
We know it. I know it in Spanish. La vida es como una caja de bombones. Nunca sabes lo que te va a tocar.
What does it mean?
Anyway, your third poem. It's your turn.
My third poem. 1 second. Like I have a short one again. Didn't know what I. My voice is dying. Hmm. I have lost all luscious dreams beyond all kingdoms of thought. But then I feel happy thinking of you. Like I like short ones. My attention span is short.
Um,
I just like.
I
Mhm.
I'm a bit lost in the kingdoms of thought part.
In what regard?
Like I don't. That doesn't evoke anything in my mind.
I have lost all luscious dreams, all extensive dreamery, all extensive world building, even beyond, even more than I myself imagined. All kingdoms of thought, all possibility spaces, all. If you do a science analogy, like all possible universes,
Mm-hmm.
in all the things unspoken, in all the thoughts which did not yet materialize
Mm-hmm.
into existence. In that
Mm-hmm.
space of possibility, within all of those kingdoms, within all of those domains, I have lost all dreams, all world building. But then,
I
from
feel
this
happy
being lost
thinking
in
of you.
darkness, I feel happy thinking of you.
That's so pure. I
Yes,
love it.
me too. That's why I picked it.
It paints a very beautiful picture.
Yes, I like pretty things very much. You seem lost in thought. You wanna share?
I'm just sitting down with the mental image of just how simple it is in a lovely way. And I like it.
I have like a fable for simplicity.
Mm. I think I really like poems that paint very specific pictures you can't describe.
Mm-hmm.
Because poetry is not descriptive. It doesn't tell, it shows.
Yes, exactly.
But then having very simple things that is just there, and it's like a very powerful, very simple image. And some images are even more powerful because they are very simple.
It's like they are distilled archetypal patterns of some sort.
Yeah, like you boil all the water away, and you have like a very thick sauce
Yes,
for
exactly.
your pasta. So this poem has a
So
very
hungry.
thick sauce of happiness and love.
It does.
So it's going to make for a very very tasty pasta.
Oh yes. It's like really fresh tomatoes.
Fresh tomatoes.
Fresh tomatoes and basil.
Anyway,
Mm.
it's been really nice.
Yes, it's been so nice. I love it. Like I need to drink more because like my voice is constantly dying, but like I
Oh,
love it.
I went through a whole thing of this while we were talking.
Oh, I believe that. I believe it instantly. Like I always see, like I need to bring more ambitious poetry.
Mm. Bring the poetry you enjoy, because that's what I did.
That really helps my anxiety. Thank you.
Honestly, yeah, because the thing is, I loved these poems. The first one because
Mhm.
it was, um, it has been there all my life. Honestly, like, I had to sing it when I was 4, 5, 6 years old as well.
Yeah, such a deep relation.
Um, but no, it's been there, and I rejected it. It was like, this guy again. Come on, this whole trajectory, the bird, and he loves the bird, but he the wings, and I know, yeah, we know it. We sing it every fucking year. But now it's like, that's a very powerful image. Like, I had to grow up and become an adult,
Mhm.
and now start to deconstruct how I love people,
Mhm.
and to really sit down with the the apparent contradiction between loving someone and being possessive of them.
Mhm.
To really understand what this guy in the 1970s was going on about the bird and the wings and the things. Like, he was talking, well, maybe he wasn't talking about this, but he is saying things that resound to me with that. And the second one was like just dark and just got me like a shotgun to the heart. It's like,
That was heavy.
fuck. And the third is just like, again, the same thing. I was really really surprised when I saw that, a very deep feeling I had, which I couldn't share with many people, like how
Mhm.
Grinder felt at the same time necessary and, um, soul crushing.
Yes,
and
it is.
I saw it like right there, the words of this guy, like 80, 90 years ago. I was like, fuck. So I just enjoyed that so much that I brought it to the table. So please, bring poetry you enjoy. They're amazing poems, very short poems that are
I
very
will.
good.
I definitely will. Same for you, obviously.
Anyway, it's been really nice. I
Same
do
for you.
have a compromise now.
Hmm?
I'm meeting a friend to play Portal 2.
Hmm.
So it's been nice. And
Same to you.
see you. Bye bye. Have
Have
fun.
fun, you too.
Happy weekend and everything.
Yes. Bye bye.
Bye.
Your singing was so great. I loved it. Mm.